Hi, my name's Stu Lauterbach, and I'm going to show you today how to make a wicking bed out of a stock tank. There's a number of supplies, and we'll talk about those, and then we'll go through the process of actually making the wicking bed. These are stock tanks that we have done in the past. We have garlic and onions growing. We have all of our herbs and vegetables. If you look over here, we have winter lettuces. We have arugula. We have all of our herbs in this bin here. I'm going to be making 3 more stock tanks, and so we will go through the steps of that today. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to put the drain plug in and set that up. What you'll need is a 3/8 inch socket, just the driver, and a wrench. The first thing we really need to do is to tighten this really tight, because we have had in the past where you got to hold the inside when you do this, where this has leaked and we've had to take the entire tank apart to repair it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this from rotating, and then pull this plug in here. So let's see, we've got that on there. Now I'm just going to take this plug out. There we go. And so now that I've gotten the ring tightened, I'm just going to unscrew the plug. And so now I've got this coming out, and we're going to replace that with a 3/4 inch street L, like this. Make sure that you use your Teflon tape and wind it in the correct direction so that it doesn't come apart when you thread it on. All of these things are going to be hand tight. The water pressure in this is not going to be high, so you don't need to glue anything. So this is going to go into here and just screw right in. And we'll just screw this hand tight like this. Then we're going to put a 3/4 inch piece of PVC pipe on that, out to about here, and then put over the end of that landscape fabric. We need to put a landscape fabric over the end of the pipe so that the mosquitoes can't get in there and breed. And so I just use a little piece of landscape fabric and I just tighten it with a cable tie like that. And then this just goes in there with mild pressure. You do not want to glue this, because if you glue this, you'll never be able to rotate it around if you have to take it out. There's no pressure on this pipe, and so it doesn't leak. You can take and rotate this to set the level of the water in the bowl. And you want to take a marking pen and mark it at the level of the top here so that you know where you're draining it properly. Okay. The next step is to take the PVC or the plastic drain pipe that you bought and open it up and stretch it out, because this is going to go in the bottom of the tank. And so it's just a matter of stretching this thing like crazy, and this might take 5 minutes to get it all out. But you're going to go like this until it's totally expanded. And sometimes you have to go rock it back and forth. Okay, You can stop it. Now we're going to take this pipe, which you see all stretched out here, and put it into the tank. And what we want to do is we want to bring one end up just to the surface, inside, like that. Then we're going to wrap this around inside. So I'm going to start taking this and wrapping it all the way around. A little bit at a time to get it all squished up inside this tank. And we're going to go around and around and around. You can stop. Go ahead. We put in our 25 feet of pipe here, and it appears that it's not long enough. So we're going to take another piece of pipe and expand this down, and this needs to be fastened into there somehow, and I need to figure out how we're going to do that. I think this goes like this, and this will slide inside of there and lock in place. There. So that's not going to come apart now. And then we're going to lay this pipe in, and you want to get as much pipe in here as you can. You squeeze it all in as much as you can. So now we have our pipe in. Yep. After you've got this all coiled in the bottom and filling it as much as possible, then we need to put a landscape fabric over the end of the pipe to keep the lava rock from getting inside of it. And this is like a three-handed project, so you get the cable tie around there and then just tighten it up. And let's see if I can get it. There we go. So this is all got it in the groove. So then we just put this back down in here. And now the next phase is to add the lava rock to the top of this level here. Most of you won't have the luxury of a small tractor, but a wheelbarrow works great. So now we're just going to shovel this lava rock in on top of all this, and make sure that you put these down as you're doing it so that it's all flat on the bottom. And when you put it in over here, make sure you get this standing up straight. And when you add more dirt later, you'll be able to keep that vertical coming out of the surface. After you have done the lava rock, you can see the pipe right there, and you just need to cover the top of this all the way around. Once this is done, the landscape fabric will go in there. After you have the lava rock just covering the top of the drain pipe, we put landscape fabric on top of this. And I cut this yesterday to fit this size of a tank. And you want it to come up the sides a little bit because the dirt is going to cover in that area. I might have made it a little bit long for this tank, I did. So let me do this. We'll bring this down here, and I will tuck this around in here. And you want it about like this. I will come back and cut this off to bring it down. After this, you simply put your potting soil on top of this and bring it up fairly high because it'll settle. And as you put your potting soil in, you want to make sure that this is vertical. You want to have a cap on it so that when you fill it with water, the mosquitoes can't get in there and breed. Finally, we load the soil into the wicking bed. Note that I started at the corners and I propped up the fill mechanism and went all the way around, coming up the sides a little bit to try and keep the potting soil from getting mixed in with the lava rock underneath. You can go to your local landscape place and have your soil put into the back of your truck. You can then fold the tarp over it, and when you need to move it, you can just grab the tarp and pull it out and pull it right into your wheelbarrow. When you're all done, this is the tank that you have. Now, when you're using it, what you want to do is you want to start by putting a hose in there and filling it with water. You want to fill the water until you get to about the level of just at the bottom of this little bar right here. You can set it like this, and when it starts to flow out the end, you bring it up like this. That water will soak up from the bottom over time. Depending on what you're growing, with tomatoes, it uses a lot of water, so you need to fill it every couple of days. With lettuce and so forth, it's a very surface watery, so sometimes you have to water that from the surface, but it works really well. From our experience, I would not plant more than 2 tomatoes in one of these large tanks, as they totally take everything over. So good luck with this. Enjoy your new stock tanks, and you can have gardens looking like this. Now, this is the middle of the winter, so we don't have a lot of tomatoes and other vegetables that will not survive this weather. I will post in the show notes below a shopping list of roughly what you will need. My guess is that the total cost for production of one of these is somewhere around $250. If you buy the landscaping materials at your local landscape supply house. Thank you for watching our video.